Let's be honest, the way a woman moves, the way she reacts, even the smallest shift in her body language, it's revealing far more than she consciously lets on. Most men think attraction is simple, a smile, a laugh, maybe a compliment here or there, but that's only scratching the surface. What I'm about to share will make you see women differently, and it's not about being manipulative. It's about understanding the signals she's sending every second, signals that are often invisible unless you know exactly what to look for. Her body is a language, one that doesn't lie. The tightness, the tension, the subtle contractions you don't notice at first glance. It's her inner truth leaking out. You've probably felt it before, that magnetic pull that can't be explained. That's not coincidence. That's psychology in motion, a primal signal rooted in attraction, desire, and trust. Women, just like men, are wired to respond to energy, presence, and emotional cues. What you might dismiss as a casual touch, a lingering glance, or a slight shift in posture, that's the universe of her emotions speaking directly to you. Most men completely miss this. They chase words, not actions. They obsess over what she says and ignore the symphony of nonverbal signals she's broadcasting constantly. And here's the thing, her body's tension or tightness is rarely about physicality alone. It's about emotional availability, interest, and the subconscious evaluation of you as a man. When she feels safe, when her trust is slowly earned, that tightness releases. When she's uncertain, when she's evaluating, you'll feel resistance. It's not about judgment, it's about her natural instinct to protect herself from risk, from rejection, from being hurt. Now, let's clarify something crucial. Noticing this doesn't make you creepy, and understanding it doesn't give you an unfair advantage. It gives you awareness, the kind that separates men who remain stuck in confusion from men who navigate relationships with clarity. When you understand her body, when you recognize these subtle signals, you gain insight into her mindset, her comfort level, and most importantly, the doors she's willing or unwilling to open emotionally. Here's a truth very few men grasp. Attraction is invisible and yet completely tangible. It's felt in tension, in subtle micro-movements, in the way her body unconsciously adjusts around you. Those who ignore this spend years chasing superficial behaviors and empty words. Those who see it, those who learn to read it, understand the difference between curiosity, interest, and desire, and can act accordingly. You've probably heard that confidence is key, but here's the real secret. Confidence alone isn't enough. It's the combination of awareness, respect, and emotional intelligence that turns a simple glance into a deep, unspoken connection. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what her body is telling you, without her ever saying a word, and you'll start to see patterns that most men miss entirely. But before we go deeper, I want you to remember this. Every micro signal she gives, every subtle tightening or release is a clue. Your job isn't to overanalyze, but to notice, respond, and respect. That's where the real power lies, understanding the silent language that women have been speaking all along. What her body is telling you is more honest than her words ever will be. The first secret lies in the way she subtly closes off or opens up around you. A man who doesn't notice this is blind to the story her body is writing in real time. When a woman unconsciously tightens her posture, crosses her legs, or slightly pulls back, it's not rejection, it's assessment. She's evaluating your presence, your energy, and your emotional strength. She's asking herself, without even realizing it, is he safe? Can I trust him? Does he make me feel something I can't ignore? This tightness, this invisible resistance, isn't random. It's a signal of her subconscious balancing two powerful instincts, desire and caution. Every woman has experienced moments of doubt, of questioning her own impulses. When she's intrigued, her body betrays her curiosity. When she's unsure, her body guards her emotions. The smartest men learn to read both. They understand that tension doesn't mean no, it means slow down, Show me your depth. Show me your value. Now pay attention. The way she subtly releases that tension is even more revealing. The small shifts, the softening of her shoulders, a slow exhale, a micro smile, are her body saying, I'm curious, I'm interested, I'm willing to explore this connection. Men who recognize this don't chase empty signs. They respond, they engage, they become the calm, magnetic presence she unconsciously seeks. Here's what most men miss. Her tightness is also tied to her level of comfort with herself. Women respond physically to energy, to confidence, and to emotional intelligence. If she's constantly guarded, it's rarely about you personally. It's about past experiences, insecurities, and the way she's been conditioned to protect her heart. The challenge isn't to break her down, it's to make her feel safe enough to release that tension naturally, so attraction flows without resistance. The real power comes when you stop trying to force a reaction and start noticing subtle patterns. Watch how she shifts when you change your tone, your posture, or your presence in the room. Notice the micro movements that happen when she's truly drawn in versus when she's hesitant. These are not tricks, they're truths written into the fabric of human behavior. Recognizing them transforms your approach from random guessing to deliberate understanding. Here's the ultimate insight. Her body is a mirror. It reflects her emotional state, her desire, and her trust. When you learn to read it accurately, you gain clarity that most men spend years chasing in vain. You'll understand when to move closer, when to pause, and when your presence alone is enough to ignite attraction. And the most remarkable part, she doesn't have to say a word. Every microsignal is her story, whispered to the attentive man who's willing to see it. By now, you should realize, attraction isn't about pressure, manipulation, or force. It's about awareness, patience, and subtlety. The men who master this are the men women unconsciously desire. They're seen as confident, magnetic, and deeply understanding. That tightness? It's not a barrier, it's a roadmap. And every shift, every softening, every release is a clue to how she truly feels. The way a woman responds physically to your presence reveals a truth that words can never capture. The second secret is about control. Her body instinctively communicates how much power she's willing to give or withhold. This isn't about manipulation in the cliché sense. It's about primal instinct, the same wiring that has guided human connection for millennia. When a woman slightly leans in, brushes against your arm, or tilts her head while listening, she's unconsciously testing the energy you radiate. Every subtle touch, every micro-shift is a question. Do you match the energy I need? Can you hold this tension without breaking it? The key here is to recognize the dance. Many men panic when they sense her pullback or tension, interpreting it as rejection. But in reality, it's an invitation to demonstrate presence, calmness, and consistency. Her body doesn't lie. When she's drawn to you, when curiosity mixes with attraction, you'll feel her energy push and pull like a silent rhythm. It's magnetic, irresistible, and psychologically profound. Men who ignore this rhythm often push too hard, ruining what could have been effortless connection. Men who feel it, match it, and respond appropriately become irresistible. Here's a critical point most men overlook. Her tightness, her micro-resistance, is also about vulnerability. Women instinctively protect what matters most, their emotions, their trust, their desire. You cannot force openness. You can, however, inspire it. When a woman senses that your presence is steady, non-threatening, and emotionally intelligent, her body begins to relax. Shoulders drop, breath deepens, gaze softens. That's when attraction flows freely, organically, and powerfully. Notice the smallest details, how her hands move when she's engaged, how her posture subtly mirrors yours, how her breathing changes when conversation becomes intimate. These are not accidents. These are the silent language of attraction, trust, and emotional resonance. The tightness you feel isn't a wall, it's a mirror. It shows what she's curious about, what she fears, and what she secretly wants. Recognizing this transforms how you interact with women, turning ordinary encounters into profoundly magnetic exchanges. Now, here's the psychological edge few men understand. Women respond not just to what you do, but to the energy you hold. Calmness, confidence, and emotional clarity create a gravitational pull that draws her in. When she tests boundaries, when she tightens, it's not resistance, it's assessment. It's her subconscious asking if you can meet her intensity without losing your balance. The men who fail are the men who react emotionally. The men who succeed are the ones who see her signals, respect them, and act with controlled presence. This secret, this understanding of her subtle control, gives you insight into the most intimate aspects of attraction. Her tightness isn't arbitrary, it's a reflection of desire filtered through instinct, experience, and subconscious evaluation. Learn to read it accurately, and you'll never guess again. You'll know. You'll understand where to move closer, where to pause, and where to simply exist in a way that captivates her without words. Remember, every shift, every contraction, every subtle release in her body is a signal. Master the interpretation, and you gain a level of connection most men never even imagine. She's already telling you everything you need to know, if you're willing to truly see it. What most men miss is the connection between her emotions and the subtle language of her body. The third secret is that every shift, every micro movement, every tightening or release is tied to her emotional triggers. When a woman feels a spark of desire, curiosity, or intrigue, her body responds before her mind even realizes it. Her heartbeat quickens, her breath subtly changes, her muscles unconsciously engage. These reactions are instinctual. They reveal what she truly feels long before she speaks a single word. Most men focus on conversation, compliments, or superficial gestures. That's why so many fail. Attraction isn't built on words, it's built on energy, resonance, and emotional impact. When you enter a room, your presence alone sets a tone. Her body reads it instantly. The way she shifts her weight, the slight tilt of her head, the micro smile that appears when she's intrigued, these are not random. They are her body's truth, an unconscious map of what she finds exciting, safe, or desirable. Here's the harsh reality. If you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. You'll interpret signals as disinterest, hesitation, or indifference, when in reality, they are her body subtly testing your response, measuring your emotional gravity. Women are wired to assess men at this level. It's primal. She's not thinking about it consciously. She's feeling it at a deep, instinctive layer. The men who succeed are the ones who notice the micro changes, who adapt, who respond with presence rather than words. Emotional triggers also explain her tightness. Fear, excitement, attraction, curiosity, they all manifest physically. When she's drawn in, her body may tense as anticipation builds. When she feels safe, her muscles release, her gestures open, and her posture softens. Men who understand this know the difference between hesitation and genuine interest. They see the signs before most men even notice them. They know when to pause, when to mirror, and when to let her curiosity deepen naturally. Another critical insight. Her subtle signals are often a mirror of your own energy. Nervousness creates tension in her body. Confidence evokes openness. Presence invites relaxation. Every shift, every micro adjustment is a dialogue without words, a conversation of instinct and desire. If you ignore it, you miss the language that could make attraction effortless. If you learn to read it, you unlock a level of connection most men spend a lifetime chasing. The truth is simple. Women's bodies are honest when words are not. They reveal what she wants, what excites her, and what she's curious about. Every tightening, every softening, every subtle shift is information, a map to understanding desire, trust, and emotional engagement. Recognize it, respect it, and respond appropriately, and you become magnetic in a way most men can only dream of. Now take a moment to observe the women in your life. Watch for the small, unconscious movements. You'll start to see patterns, and you'll realize just how much she's already telling you. Her body is a language, and every gesture, every micro movement is a word waiting for you to understand. The most powerful truths about attraction are the ones almost every man misses. The fourth secret is buried deep in her subconscious, those tiny, almost imperceptible movements that reveal desire, curiosity, and emotional resonance. This is where awareness separates ordinary men from magnetic men. Most guys chase what's visible, a smile, a laugh, a compliment. But the real signals are invisible unless you know exactly where to look. Her body doesn't lie. The way she unconsciously leans closer, the brief brush of her hand, the subtle shift in her hips, even the tiniest change in her breathing, all of these are expressions of attraction she can't or won't say out loud. Here's the truth. Women's bodies respond to emotional connection before rational thought kicks in. That's why subtle tension or tightness appears when she's intrigued. Her subconscious is constantly assessing your energy, your confidence, and your emotional depth. When she feels drawn in, there's a physical manifestation. Her posture softens, her gestures open, her micro-expressions align with your presence. Every movement is a signal of engagement, of curiosity, and yes, of desire. Most men misinterpret these signs. They either overreact or dismiss them entirely. They fail to see that attraction is not about persistence, it's about attunement. The women who feel a spark of connection unconsciously test whether the man can match it without forcing it. That tension you feel isn't rejection, it's evaluation. When she leans in slightly, when she subtly mirrors your gestures, that's not coincidence. It's chemistry in motion. It's her body showing you what words cannot convey. Here's the psychological insight most men never understand. The way she moves is tied to her emotional experience with you. Micro adjustments in her body, tiny shifts in her shoulders, subtle tilts of her head, or the way her eyes track your movements reflect how safe, intrigued, or excited she feels. The man who notices these cues gains a roadmap to attraction. He can respond with presence, energy, and confidence, creating connection without saying a word. And the most powerful part? These subconscious signals are always honest. While words can be rehearsed, gestures faked, or expressions masked, the body leaks truth. Every slight contraction or release of tension is her way of showing you what she feels, what she desires, and how she's evaluating you. Men who see this understand that attraction isn't about chasing. It's about responding intelligently, subtly, and empathetically. So here's what you do. Observe, notice, and respect. Recognize the tiny cues of curiosity, interest, and desire. Don't force responses. Don't overthink every movement. Simply align your energy with hers, respond with confidence, and allow her subconscious signals to guide the flow of connection. That is how magnetic men create attraction effortlessly. That is how they understand what her body is truly revealing, in ways most men never even perceive. When you master this, every encounter becomes a dialogue without words. You'll see what she feels even before she realizes it herself. You'll feel the tension, the pull, the subtle invitation in every micro-movement, and that's where true attraction begins. Everything you've seen so far is just the beginning. The fifth secret, and perhaps the most profound, is that her body is a direct reflection of her inner world, her desires, and her subconscious evaluation of you. By now, you should understand that every tightening, every shift, every micro-movement is communicating a story. But here's the truth most men never grasp. It's not just about noticing these signals, it's about responding with emotional intelligence, presence, and respect. That's where real connection and real attraction are born. Her body doesn't lie because it is wired to react instinctively. When she feels a spark of attraction, a sense of curiosity, or an emotional pull, it manifests physically. She may lean in slightly, her gaze may linger longer than expected, her breathing may subtly change, or her posture may soften in your presence. These are all non-verbal affirmations of her internal state. The men who see this clearly are able to connect on a level that most men can only dream of. They understand that attraction is a silent dialogue, a language of energy, tension, and subtle release. Here's the psychological nuance most men miss. Her tightness is not a barrier, it's a guide. It shows what excites her, what she's curious about, and how comfortable she feels. The micro-resistance you notice? It's not rejection, it's her testing your presence, your confidence, and your ability to navigate the space without forcing it. Men who panic or overcompensate lose the signal entirely. Men who remain calm, grounded, and responsive harness it to build magnetic attraction. Emotional intelligence is your secret weapon. Responding appropriately to her body's signals, matching energy, respecting boundaries, and subtly mirroring cues transforms ordinary interactions into deeply resonant connections. Attraction flows when tension is handled with awareness, not force. Her body is constantly giving feedback, a silent roadmap that guides your actions, words, and presence. Ignore it, and you remain in confusion. See it clearly, and you become unforgettable. And here's the final insight. This is not about manipulation. It's about understanding. When you truly read her subconscious signals, you gain clarity. You know when she's curious, when she's intrigued, and when she's emotionally receptive. You no longer guess or overthink. You respond intelligently, effortlessly, and magnetically. That's how the most desirable men operate. They are fully aware of the unspoken, subtle language of attraction, and they honor it while staying grounded in their own energy. So, here's the personal challenge. Observe the next woman you interact with. Notice the micro signals, the shifts, the subtle tension and release. Ask yourself, which of these cues is her body giving unconsciously, and how can I respond with presence and emotional clarity? Write your answer in the comments below. If this video helped you see women's true signals, hit like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this. Remember, understanding her body isn't about control, it's about awareness, empathy, and connection. The power of attraction lies in seeing what most men never notice and responding in a way that is calm, confident, and magnetic.